Bonjour, c'est une series.
She's the monster. She's gonna rip you to pieces. Mina?
I don't want to hurt you.
Mina?
Somebody help!
Once I started to get more into horror, like I really loved Let the Right One In and the Del Toro, you know, Devil's Backbone and Pan's Labyrinth. I also am partial to, like, you know, Poltergeist and Rosemary's Baby and Repulsion, Carrie, The Thing. So classic, yeah. I feel like when I found horror, it gave kind of the things I wanted to say another, like a bit more complexity, a darker frame for what I wanted to say. So it made it more complex and more interesting. So, you know, I'm telling this story about lost innocence and kids living in a dark, scary world, but also about redemption and kind of finding connection in that world, you know. And I feel like it actually kind of highlights it a little more when it has that juxtaposition of darkness and violence and all the, because really in the end, like, that is the world that we live in, you know. That is the world that our kids are growing up in. I mean, going in, there were some things I really wanted to explore, and especially this idea of doing a film from the monster's perspective, and actually kind of having like a sympathetic monster, because I found it interesting. You know, you watch like Jason Voorhees or Candyman. If you look at their backstories, the mythology, they're actually fairly sympathetic backstories. It doesn't really come through in the movies, but it is. So I thought, oh, what if we actually put that on screen? And then I was just about finding that character and that monster that I could really get behind. And so when I found Mina and kind of explored her story, I got very angry. And I always say, like, the first 30 pages of this script just flew right out of me because I really wrote angry. Like, I was very angry for her. I feel like Mina has kind of like removed herself from the world, you know, and she's developed this protective cocoon where she won't let anybody in, you know. Meanwhile, Alex, sort of by need, has learned how to survive. Part of his surviving is being attached to someone. Alex is actually based on I was inspired by a real kidnapping story that happened in the States around the time that Elisabeth Smart was kidnapped. You know, there's always this kind of mirror between them, and she starts to see him going down that path, and she feels like it's wrong, and she, you know, she sees herself in it, and things are changing. Yes and no. I mean, it depends how we say love story. I mean, Nadia and Toby were both very adamant, and I also was too, that it wasn't kind of the love story in the traditional sense, but it was in a more human sense, you know. Like, I think empathy is more. It's like shared experience and connection and just a human connection, which, sure, to some extent that can be love. It's just not romantic love.